Sega, supporters of Sky Sports coverage of England's World Cup Challenge.
We were in Oslo for England's most crucial game since the World Cup semi-finals. They faced a Norwegian side who knew that victory would take them to the United States and send this pretty city into raptures. And remember the warning that Norway handed out when they came to Wembley last October?
Goal! And David Platt applied the touch. Here's Rekdal. It's a great try! Oh, I say!
I don't believe it. What a strike that is.
What a night. The stakes couldn't have been higher, and the first word from Norway was some sensational team news. Match commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Well, Norway have never known such a prominent position in the World Cup as far as qualification is concerned. They built a basis to go to the United States. 9 points out of 10 so far. England, 9 points out of 12. And I must say, the Norwegian side absolutely brimming with confidence. How will England perform? They rode their luck in Poland. Graham Taylor's talk of headless chickens on a night when the manager's half-time rhetoric made a few ears burn in the dressing room. Norway's coach, Egil Olsen, is a national hero, but he's surprised the country by naming Lars Bohinen, who was not in his original squad, in the team in place of the injured Minnie Jakobsen. 3 others didn't start the match at Wembley in October. The giant Jostein Flo and Øyvind Leonardsen, who will give width to the midfield, and the one out-and-out striker, Jan Åge Fjørtoft. Familiar names there from England's Premier League, like Erik Thorstvedt, of course, who's playing his first game since Easter Monday, when he broke a finger playing for Spurs at Nottingham Forest. Fjørtoft, who scored against Scotland and once knocked Aberdeen out of European competition. Rekdal, who produced that bolt from the blue at Wembley. And Bohinen, the surprise selection. The captain, Rune Bratseth. But as for Graham Taylor, he's given a lot of thought into tonight's lineup, having to take into account Paul Ince's suspension, Lee Dixon's recent illness, injuries to the likes of Les Ferdinand and Ian Wright, the loss of form of Des Walker, and perhaps most of all, the loss of sharpness of Paul Gascoigne. He's also considered the Norway style as well, and the outcome is the introduction of 2 members of Manchester United's championship winning side. Gary Pallister, his 6th cap, his first for 21 months, and Lee Sharp, who replaces John Barnes. It's Sharp's first start ever after 2 previous appearances as a substitute. David Platt will operate in midfield. Paul Gascoigne behind the front 2, who are those prominent strikers of the Premier League, Les Ferdinand and Teddy Sheringham. So England defend the goal to the left in the first half. Des Walker here, one of 3 central defenders. But Pallister will certainly look to the left-hand side to start with, but he won't see Jostein Flo. Andy Gray.
Yes, Martin, we were all led to believe this weekend, or this week in the build-up to the game, that the number 6, Jostein Flo, would play wide on the right-hand side of midfield. They were indicating all week that they were going to be looking for the left-back area and Stig Bjorneby to be firing diagonal balls on top of Tony Dorigo, who they thought were playing. They've started the game off totally different. Flo is up front with Fjørtoft at the moment, and they have a 4-man midfield area, and the number 8 you see there, Leonardsen, is the one occupying the right-hand side.
Flo at the moment just tucking back down the left, where it might just be a straight swap, having seen the selection for England. And Graham Taylor did tell me that Gary Pallister would be switched across as well, and there's a bit of an inquest going on in the back line as we look.
He's coming over, Martin. Gary Pallister's doing exactly that, and it looks get Flo and Lee Dixon. But this is where Gary Pallister can come into his own in an attacking sense.
Gascoigne with the mask. But not with the progress for the moment. He was quite disparaging about his own performance in Poland. He was bowled over there by Nicklund. Flick on by Ferdinand Torsfeld, who might just be on the rusty side. Not only having to have repairs to a broken finger, but he's had a hernia operation as well. And he faces two players in particular he knows well, Teddy Sheringham, still with Spurs of course, and Paul Gascoigne, once of. Free kick for Gascoigne in England.
The positive thing from this is that we all know how dangerous England can be, and they now are able to not only throw up Tony Adams, Gary Pallister, and with Sheringham and Ferdinand also very capable in the air. That is something that they should be looking to do this early. Put one in there, test the defence, test Eric Torsfeld. He's been out of the game for a long while.
Sharp leaves it. Oh, Gascoigne going for a gap there because Torsfeld was anticipating a cross, and Gascoigne cheekily almost caught out Eric Torsfeld.
I tell you what, man, had he hit that a bit more powerfully and not choked it a bit, I think it would have embarrassed Eric Torsfeld. But the England formation, there's a lot about it I like, you know. I like the choice of the two front men. Teddy Sheringham there and Les Ferdinand, both are very capable of holding the ball up, and I think away from home in an international that's important. I like David Platt back in the midfield area.
Adams with the header away. Here's Palmer. And again. Bohinen, who hasn't played for Norway for a year since Scotland were here. And Scotland, incidentally, the last team to stop Norway scoring just over a year ago. Dixon holding off Flo. And showing no signs of the illness that kept him out in Katowice. Ferdinand. That's good work by him. And, my word, it just veered away from Gascoigne at the far post.
Oh, I'd love to have seen the position swapped there, Sheringham and Gascoigne. I think a more instinctive person in that area at the back post would have gone in on top of that cross, but very positive from Les Ferdinand. Talking about David Platt, man, just finishing down the England. I like him back in midfield because I think his running from there is better. He gets more space and more joy at a better level coming from deep. And I'm also delighted to see Lee Sharp on the field. I think he's brimming full of confidence on the back of that Premier League Championship win. He's one of the best crossers of the ball in the Premier League, and people like Les Ferdinand and Teddy Sheringham would be delighted that he's playing. My one worry would be defensively, if they have to endure a lot of sustained pressure, because there's a new unit together, and it does at times take time to gel.
Headed back in by Bohinen. Nicklund. Sheringham coming back, touched off by Fjørtoft. Rekdal, down goes Fjørtoft, and he does go very easily, I must say. A puff of wind and he's on the deck.
That's something to look for tonight. You're right about him. Any physical contact in the number 9, I mean, it's minimal. You see it there, it's minimal, but he will fold like a pack of cards.
And it's a free kick to Norway. We're in the 6th minute of this vital World Cup qualifier in Group 2. Rekdal on the ball. Teeing it up for Jostein Flo! And the shot certainly flew. And Woods found it coming very quickly indeed, got enough on the save to turn the ball over the bar.
Well, that's an incredible strike from Flo. We know about Bjornaby's strength on his left foot, we know about Rekdal, but now we know about Jostein Flo. And I think what saves Chris Woods there is that it's so close to him. If that was a yard or two away from him, Chris Woods may have been picking that out the back of the net.
It is Stig Bjornaby of Liverpool to go across and use his fearsome left foot at the corner, but needed some defending too by Tony Adams.
This is an area where England have got to defend. We talked about how well drilled they are at offensive free kicks themselves, but when you look at the height of this Norwegian side, they've got about 5 or 6 6-footers, all capable of causing a problem.
Bratzert and Fjørtoft waiting by the near post. Flo coming in from deeper. Woods in trouble, doing enough. It was really the quality of the corner rather than too much deficiency in the goalkeeping. It really swerved, and it's gone behind for another corner.
Yeah, he was really struggling, Chris Woods, but he did well to get a hand on it.
Early pressure for England to endure here. Bjørneby. Bohinen, who'd taken the corner. England's throw. Contrast in the two camps, really. Egil Olsen open with his lineup, made public yesterday lunchtime. England players were told at 4 o'clock yesterday what the team would be, but were sworn to secrecy. And, well, it's only in the last couple of hours that Graham Taylor has made his thoughts public.
Yeah, and what he's looking for is for Les Ferdinand to play sort of an old-fashioned inside right, in between the left back and the left centre half, and for Teddy Sheringham to do likewise on the other side.
Flat. Rather sold Dixon short then. Lee Dixon stayed in his hotel room on Saturday night and just about stayed awake long enough when he was ill to watch the entire game and see his clubmate Ian Wright, the England's hero. Torsvik coming, and not really making it, but he does the second time. Ferdinand was the worry for him. Adams, touched by Mikland forward to Leonardsen. It's good play by Norway, with an athletic run typical of the man from Gunnar Halle, trying to be the furthest forward at the end of all that.
I mean, if you were Egil Olsen looking at the game against Poland, the one thing you would have noticed as well, Martin, was how at times vulnerable England looked to Poland's very, very quick breaks. And it was noticeable there that when they got the ball and they broke, they were quite happy to throw Gunnar Halle forward as far as possible and not restrict him in any way.
Ferdinand has been flagged offside. The referee, Sándor Púl from Hungary, hasn't seen the flag, which has now gone down.
That was amazing. The linesman, as you rightly said, flagged for offside, then put his flag down.
Walker, lots of scrutiny on his performance tonight, but that goes really throughout the England team. Flat. Palmer. And offside this time against Platt. There was, for a moment there, Les Ferdinand down on his haunches, and one hopes no reoccurrence of the back problem that has dogged him for a good while now. And I'm sure Jerry Francis, our studio guest, will confirm that Les is a player who likes to be absolutely 100% sure of his own conditioning. Flow flicking on. That's the worry, how he gets involved coming in from wide positions, angling headers down. And that really is why Gary Pallister is playing for England tonight.
To be fair though, Martin, it doesn't really matter how big you are at all against someone like Jostein Flo. If he gets a run on you and the ball is in an area that favours him, there's not even a lot that someone of the size of Gary Pallister can do.
Flo's an interesting character. He plays in the second division here in Norway, plays as a striker, used in the international setup now, just from wider and deeper positions, but really has a job for the side. Fjørtoft, the front man tonight. This is Bohinen. And still, Fjørtoft should keep it in. Support from Flo, if required. Not required, because Jan Åge Fjørtoft has forced the corner for Norway.
Good skill. Excellent skill from Fjørtoft.
And the These tall, strapping Scandinavians make their way into England's penalty area. And taking the responsibility there was Carlton Palmer.
Well, there's no way anyone can stand around in there in the penalty area for England. If it's in your area, if you're the nearest white shirt, you've got to be attacking it.
England really dragged into their own goal area with bodies, and then 3 against 3 at the back post. And that was more for the crowd than a real scare for Chris Woods, who's been concentrating more on the save he made after his missed kick in Poland early in the second half, that could have been so costly. He certainly made up for his error. And the kick here is very clean indeed. Leonardson, across goes Palmer. Off. Down he goes again. And the referee and the linesman, who were both very close, weren't impressed that time. Fjørtoft has been playing in Austria with Rapid Vienna, where it's a trait he's picked up in that particular league. But as I said earlier, the England players have been warned to watch any contact with him, especially in the penalty area. He earned a penalty in the last match here against Turkey. The burn is the right word.
He throws himself about the way he started this game. There's no surprise he gets 1 or 2 decisions going his way.
Dixon finding himself in the centre. Palmer, who was one of the players questioned by Graham Taylor about a loss of self-control in the first half against Poland. And England were rather embroiled into the physical side of the game and lost some self-control. Certainly didn't please the manager, whose half-time talk was on the ferocious side. Pratt covering back, but Norway coming forward here with Bjørneby. And now Bohinen. 3 for Norway in the centre. And from the flick by Fjørtoft, Woods not really troubled, but the build-up play was purposeful.
They took their time, he delivered a cross into a very dangerous area. And Tony Adams was just a yard or 2 off Fjørtoft for my liking.
Sheringham. Ratset with a header. Sheringham gets it back for England. And Walker having to go to the left with Sharp further forward. Ferdinand chasing but running out of room, and it's a goal kick. And quite a hefty fall there. But England, they are the 2 strikers. 2 caps for Ferdinand before tonight, 1 for Sheringham. But plenty of Premier League goals under their belts.
For a very inexperienced international duo for such an important game. But you're right, the pedigree at club level cannot be questioned.
There we are with 15 minutes gone. Chris Woods has had a difficult save to make from a free kick by Jostein Flo. But it's England's free kick here. Players certainly pleased with the pitch. The one thing about it, so we just look again at the foul, is that there's an excessive camber on it, not just a cross, which is often the way on football grounds, but from goal to goal as well. A very tight, atmospheric stadium, steep sides, wonderful view, wonderful atmosphere. Put away by Pedersen. Graham Taylor has taken his time looking at the various problems in his ranks and what he thinks Norway are really made of, and has changed the shape of the England side. Alistair, one to benefit from those decisions. Platt. Gascoigne wanting the ball to feet.
Like to see them do that a little bit more. Now we're approaching 20 minutes mark. Let's try just keep it a little bit. Take the sting away from the Norwegians. Don't be in such a hurry to get it forward. Or if you are getting it forward, give a ball up to Ferdinand and Sheringham that they can deal with.
That was Walker slipping Micklund. Fjørtoft. Taken back to his own half by Adams. A bit of finger wagging from the Arsenal captain. Well, Graham Taylor has really exerted his influence on the shape of this side, and he'll be obviously very, very keen for it to work out, but coaches everywhere will be waiting to see whether the change in battle plan strengthens England. The manager's certainly very pleased to have Ferdinand's firepower. He really ran Holland ragged at times at Wembley in April. Gascoigne closed down quickly.
Well, had he been able to deliver a cross, they had a 2-against-1 situation at the back post against Bjorneby. Sheringham and Platt were 2-1 against him.
Breakdown in communication there between Pallister and Dixon. Egil Olsen, Drillo they call him here, which refers to his playing days as a winger. He was renowned for his dribbling skills. Erik Thorstvedt, incidentally, has a new contract in his possession for Tottenham for next season and beyond, but is refusing to sign it until the outcome of the problems at White Hart Lane.
I'd like to see him try and get Lee Sharp on the ball a little bit more. 20 minutes gone and he's really been starved of the ball.
Gascoigne well forward again. Woods' long ball flick on from Sheringham. What can Ferdinand do here? Not quite the sight of goal as he spun.
But that's the combination he would be looking for, Graham Taylor, for anything delivered long. Would be Sheringham climbing and Ferdinand using that blistering pace he has to get in behind.
The two characters famous for their dribbles are Sir Stanley Matthews and Roy Hattersley.
Awkward for Woods. Ball bouncing up from Palmer's back pass. Chris Woods kept calm, just about.
Well, they wouldn't be thanking Carlton Palmer for that after that near fatal mistake in Poland. The last thing Chris wanted to be dealing with in this game was something as awkward as that going back to him.
And from a clubmate as well. Tony Adams, who has an appointment in hospital once this two-game trip is over. The England party returning tonight. Adams needing that hernia operation. Leonardson unable to keep the ball in. A throw to England. We're halfway through the first half, 0-0 in Oslo. Clearance by Pedersen. With their three defenders all back.
That's a
Norway
giveaway.
Defenders moving up as Walker wastes it.
That's a giveaway. What he should have been doing, Des Walker, there, just nicking it down the line. At least give the striker something to run onto. That one far too straight towards Erik Thorstvedt and really didn't trouble the Norwegian defenders.
It's a push by Walker on Leonardson. Free kick to Norway. the aerial power, trying to assert itself against Graham Taylor's team.
Well, Bjornby's gone over with his left foot, which does suggest he's going to whip this in towards Justwoods, and they're going to try and get players attacking it.
It didn't quite reach Flo, and Carlton Palmer saw to that.
Good defending, Carlton Palmer. They had men in the right places, England defending there. Over it comes, you see it again. Palmer's in that area, no messing about, get rid of it.
Norway's corner. Deeper one this time. Flo was blocked off and in fact ruled to have pushed Gary Pallister. Took him on then and got the decision.
I think what they haven't been, I mean, Graham Taylor was under the illusion that they would be very, very direct to Norwegians. I think that the early part of this game, they've been very impressive in respect to the way they've played the ball. They haven't just looked to whack the ball forward. They've looked to pick the passes out, play it through midfield if they can, and go from there.
Well, they were trying to play it through midfield then, and Palmer got to Micklin very quickly. England couldn't go on from that, and Carlton Palmer, who's suffering from a touch of the flu, is jogging back now. Fjørtoft flicks it on. Bjørnby hasn't played for Liverpool since March because of a groin problem. Lucky there that Ferdinand couldn't quite react.
Worried about getting offside, I think Les was there. He was just on his way back and caught on his heels.
Well, won by Pallister. So, point in question there really, as they look to build from the heading ability of Jostein Flo.
Well, that's an important area, that second ball. If they do that at times when they are doing look for Flo and Fjørtoft in the air, then it's very important that in these scrapping balls that Carlton Palmer, Lee Dixon and David Platt in particular are winning their share of what we would call the second ball.
Hoisted in by Haller. Dixon getting to it. Put it on by Palmer. Gascoigne again unable to keep things going for England. But really England without a left back, having to use Des Walker on that left side. Lee Sharp staying ahead of him. Pallister for Platt. It's Gascoigne who's offside. There's been a lot of talk about the weight around Paul Gascoigne's waistline, but what about the weight on his shoulders? He, more than any other individual, was responsible for England's good start in the group. His influence has declined in more recent games, and he's been brutally honest with himself about that.
I think everyone would agree that he's England's most gifted footballer. And in a tight game, if you're looking for anyone to produce a piece of magic, then certainly you'd be looking at Paul Gascoigne to be one of those type of players.
Foul by Flo on Adams, quickly taken free kick by Palmer. Ferdinand flagged offside again.
Unlucky. He's unlucky that time. Just got to bend his run a little bit and be a little bit more patient, because he's got enough.
Haller. Here's Sharp. Pedersen underneath that one. The players have been based in a hotel up in the hills overlooking Oslo, concentrating on the game, going no further than the training ground. Some of the Norway side went to a Bruce Springsteen concert yesterday. Show how relaxed they are about it. Adams with a clearance. foot raised by Sharp, the arm raised by the referee, indirect free kick.
I think this sort of challenge, sometimes back home that you get away with that type of thing, but on the continent, as soon as the foot's raised any height at all, referees penalise it.
Here comes Flo, trying to launch himself again. Leonardson and Walker ducking in. The whistle didn't go. Des Walker is hurt. Norway have a corner.
And I think the referee's signalling exactly what you said. The England players are looking around for the decision, but if we watch this again, the referee says Des Walker ducks into it. And I think that is why he didn't give the decision in England's favour. But you see the blood there, streaming from a cut on his head, and he looks quite shaken. That looks a nasty one.
Well, Walker off the pitch, and the referee indicating that the corner should be taken. He's quite entitled to do that, of course. Howard's come up into the middle as well. Fjotov dummied. England was solid there by the near post, and David Platt got it away.
Well, Lee Dixon's got to play right back now. Lee Sharp left back just to give themselves a little bit of breathing space until they sort out Des Walker.
Certainly from the amount of blood, one would wonder whether stitches have got to be put in. Half an hour gone. England playing with 10 men. Des Walker being with a towel around his head.
Well, that does suggest that there's some repair work going to have to be done to that head wound of Des Walker's. The decision from Graham Taylor, it's an obvious one. Do we spend 5 or 10 minutes with 10 men and ride with luck, or does he decide we can't afford to do that? We've got to get 11 men on the field as soon as possible.
The offside comes to England's rescue here.
Real difficult decision now for a manager. But I think you look at his substitutes, Mark, and that may influence his decision in holding as long as he can and waiting for Des Walker. With Clough, Batty, Sinton and Wright, the 4 substitutes, outfield players.
Ian Wright, incidentally, in case you're wondering why he wasn't put in from the start after scoring in Poland. He hasn't been able to train much since then. He's still feeling that damaged ankle that curtailed his time on the Wembley pitch in the 2 FA Cup finals. But he is available for a short, sharp burst if required.
Well, what England in actual fact have done, Mark, is just dropped Carlton Palmer back in. And he's now filling the place of Des Walker in the back three. Certainly no stranger to that area of the pitch.
Midland. Out. Palace to the shot by Flo, though. And not for the first time in this game showing he's not just a player who's good in the air.
Yeah, not quite. He doesn't look quite as comfortable on his left side as he did on his right. But it's noticeable now. I don't know whether tactically they've done it deliberately, but Flo has now been put out to the right-hand side, and they've brought the number 8. That's Leonardson over to the left, and that's the formation we were led to believe would start the game.
As we've said before, Egil Olsen is a very meticulous student of the English game, a regular visitor working for Norwegian television on England matches in the winter. Well, Haller had a chance there to tee up Rekdal, the player who scored explosively at Wembley.
That was a let-off.
Dixon defending. Flo trying to be too clever. And here's Platt. England substitutes continuing to warm up, while Des Walker is being looked at by the doctor and one would assume being stitched. Here's Fjotov. Palmer. Corner.
Well, like to have a look at that again. I thought the under-21s last night were very fortunate to have a penalty given against them. But let's have a closer look at that. Does Carlton Palmer get anything on it? Fjotov gets to the ball just there. The right leg comes over. It's an ugly challenge. And I think that England will be Rather pleased that the referee took that decision there.
Corner it is, and England must defend it without Des Walker. To be taken by Bienebe. And to be caught by Woods, only for an instant, a fumble, and a grab again. Well, Palmer just pressed back into the centre of defence, having to make that difficult tackle. It may be that he just scratched the ball with his studs.
I'll give you that then. But what he did do, good news for England, as we see there. Des Walker back on the pitch. What Carlton Palmer did do, Martin, wrongly as a defender was tackle with the wrong leg. He should have been really in a position to tackle him with his left foot there. He went across the player with his right, and that's what made it look a very ugly tackle. And I don't think there would be too many complaints if the referee pointed to the spot.
There's Pallister and Flo in close proximity again. Hammer went down, and Norway have a free kick.
Again, they're up. They're definitely up at the moment, the Norwegians. They're riding high in confidence, and that's showing in their play.
Well, there have been some almost arrogant statements in the local papers here from Norwegian players saying that they're definitely going to win this match tonight and put England in their place. 10 minutes left in the first half. And it's Norway 0, England 0. Sheringham's flick, Ferdinand finding it just going a bit too straight towards Torsvedt. On the left in the role that would have been fulfilled by Minnie Jakobsen, who's been such an important player for Norway. Reported with a thigh strain and was ruled out as early as Monday. Free from Hungary, Shandor Pool just going across there to sort this out, a little aftermath.
Yeah, I think Les Ferdinand quite rightly had a word with the lines when he felt he was just being pushed out of things in the corner. But he'll be anxious, the England manager. Lowe's team have defended fairly well. They have rode their luck a little bit at times. And at the other end of the pitch, they really, apart from one little flash from Les Ferdinand, they really haven't troubled Erik Torsvedt at all. And that's the next stage for them. If they can keep it clean sheet for long enough, the next stage then is to go and try and cause some problems in the Norwegian half.
Sharp, not quite there, but Palmer made that happen. With good work back in midfield now. Just go across, Carlton Palmer having a look around to make himself available for the throw. Thinks better of it because it's a long one, not long enough from Sharp. Walker skipping in. Torsvedt playing for Norway for the 76th time tonight, and they were desperate to get him right for this game. Panic stations almost when the news came here from Nottingham on that Easter Monday that he'd got a bad injury. They weren't so concerned that he would miss the Turkey game, which Norway duly won here by 3-1. Sharp. It's a ball he's been encouraged to play from left to right. Gascoigne, and still opting to use Sheringham. Ferdinand fighting for the cross. Pedersen strong in the air. Good work by Bohinen. And Leonardson shrugged aside by the England captain. Ferdinand. Norway coping pretty comfortably at the back. O'Helan on the ball. Micklin. Here's Haller. Flows moved across the penalty area from the right-hand side, hoping for a centre. But it didn't come, and Gascoigne leads England on the way out. To the feet of Ferdinand. And he's sent flying by Björneby.
Now, this is one of the easier decisions that the referees had to make tonight.
Ferdinand rather slowly and gingerly getting back on his feet. He's been encouraged by the referee to do so. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Adams has stayed back, but Gary Pallister's made a late move forward. It's a deep ball by Dixon. Platt. Here's Sharp. Now Palmer. Not really getting far enough to give any work to Eric Torsfeld at the moment. Sheringham. Slow pulling to the left. Left arm is hitting the pass, and apparently done again by Dixon. He's made a very quick recovery. He really was poorly on Saturday and Sunday. Had an adverse reaction to some antibiotics taken for a damaged toe. Fjørtoft. I'm not sure. I don't think that he was ever going to catch that. He hesitated for a moment, and in that hesitation the chance was lost. Micklin, who currently is doing national service here in Norway. Put out by Tore Pedersen. Palmer. Sharp could have crossed in here. He does. One for Ferdinand to try and reach, but pushing spotted maybe by Ferdinand, also maybe by Sheringham, who is trying to gain ground.
That's what I'd like to see more of, if we can get Lee Sharp into those positions. And I think Ferdinand and particularly Sheringham will be much happier receiving balls from that kind of area.
Micklin.
Well, you're right. You were right about that guy, Martin Fjørtoft. Any time he's touched, he just goes down.
He's in here, Leonardson, and they've scored. Leonardson. 3 minutes left in the first half. The free kick was given, but it was taken quickly. That was the crucial thing. Fjørtoft was thinking quickly, and the cross was bundled in by Leonardson. Delight for Norway.
You're right, he doesn't hit it right. Probably if he had hit it crisply, then Chris Woods would save it. He committed himself to the dive. It skips off Leonardson's foot and agonisingly over Chris Woods' head. But you were right, Fjørtoft earned the foul, but it was from there, Mark. He was so bright when he got up and ran in behind Des Walker, I think it was, to deliver that cross.
Well, just when England seemed to be getting through the half-time, not exactly cruising, and not exactly getting a 50% share of possession either. They're behind, and they're in trouble. Out by Pallister. Gascoigne. But he can't get away when he gets the ball. And that's partly because of the effects of Norway's marking. And I have to say, partly because, as he admits himself, he's not in the best of shape. He can't quite explain why. And you've heard what Graham Taylor says. It's a refuelling problem. That's what the expression that the manager refused to elaborate on. Down goes Sharp. Haller lost track of the ball. The referee hasn't lost track of the situation. He's given England the free kick.
That was unlucky as well, you know. It was a brilliant crossfield pass from Gary Pallister. And had he been able to collect it cleanly, then Sharp was clean through. But this would be the ideal time to strike back immediately. Throw a few men out. Let's see Adams got there and join Gary Pallister. He's strolling up at the moment. It does suggest he's going to get himself in there. I would certainly hope so. Striking back immediately, that would be the answer.
Well, this is the opportunity. It was Haller who headed it away. England's ball. Well, Dixon really hoping to hurl this one in. Adams knows what's coming from his Arsenal clubmate. Booted away by Flo to rapturous applause. The target for Norway now to get to half-time, preserving the one-goal lead that they have late in the first half. Sharp. Well, Lee Sharp and Gulla Haller, of course, played against each other. Manchester United against Oldham. Certainly on top of the job at the moment. Excellent season he had for Joe Royle as well.
Part of the reason that is because Lee Sharp turned to do most of the defending.
Well, the players head for the dressing room in very different frames of mind. England hit caught cold at a free kick, given that they felt unfairly against Walker on Fjørtoft perhaps, but Norway reacted so well from it to lead to the goal for Leonardsen. But the Norwegians believe that they can see a path now to the United States. England have got 45 minutes to sort it out. At half-time in the Ullevål Stadium in Oslo, it's Norway 1, England 0.
The two stars famous for their curlers are Zico and Ilder Ogden.
Welcome back. The match facts. Norway 1, England 0. 3 shots from Norway on target, all of them. Just 1 from England on target. 8 corners. Norway, of course, none from England so far. Pretty even all the way down the rest of the list. Jerry Francis is our studio guest. Before we ask you, Jerry, what you do about it, let's have a look at the goal again. Came 3 minutes before the interval. 1-0 it is to Norway at the moment. Leonardsen the scorer. And this is the incident that led up to it.
Well, yes, I mean, Fjørtoft has got a reputation of falling down, but led there a little bit. And he gets the other side of him. It's quickly taken free kick. You have a bit of fortune there with a little bit of a deflection as it went in, but you know, it's obviously disappointing. Very close to half time.
Surrounded by white shirts too, isn't he, Leonardsen, the scorer?
Well, I think that's what I'm saying really. For me, the whole situation is that we're still playing for it at the back against their 1, which is Fjørtoft most of the time, and that's leaving us outnumbered in the middle of the park where they're playing their 5 against our 4, and they're having a lot of possession. Norway, they've been able to play through us. And that's causing us problems. And when we receive the ball, when we get possession, one of the 3 are getting possession and just knocking long balls into areas, and we can't get the 2 wide boys free. Can't get Sharp in the game, Dixon in the game, in attacking positions. Therefore, none of the crosses that we talked about can come in.
So what would you do? Change it now?
Well, if he doesn't change it, I mean, personally, I would change it and have the 2 fullbacks pushed in, because they're only playing 1 up, so I'd leave my 2 centre-halves, whoever they would be, with the 1. I'd push my 2 fullbacks in, thereby releasing Sharp and the other boy on the other side, whoever that is, forward, to get a situation now where we've got to be positive now. We need a goal at some stage. Obviously not to go stupid, we've got 45 minutes. But if they're not going to change, if they're going to play the same, then somebody like Adams has got to come out with the ball and has got to release players, Sharp or Dixon. He's got to come out and commit Norwegian players, because they're happy to sit there. And if we don't do that, then obviously, like in the first half, we're going to create very, very few chances. They play a very tight offside trap, which I think Les and Teddy Sheringham have really lulled themselves into a few times without bending their runs. But to be fair, the balls into them haven't been good. And we've had 4 good set pieces, I think, but we've wasted every one of them. We've got people like Pallister, like Adams, like Ferdinand, like Sheringham, like Palmer that have got height, and we've wasted all of those 4 set pieces at the moment.
Should the Norwegians have had a penalty as well?
Well, yeah, I'm obviously biased, but I would have been disappointed here if, from attacking point of view anyway, if perhaps it hadn't been given. You can't quite see from this angle whether he gets a touch, but it doesn't look like that to me. And I would say we're a bit fortunate to get away with that.
Not the best of angles, but pictures from Norwegian television. We'll take another break, back in a moment or so with the whole of the second half live here on Sky Sports. England trail in this crucial match by a 0-0. Don't go away.
How can you name these England stars who both have Orient
on Sky Sports.
For the England stars who both have Oriental connections are Gary Lineker and Yang Lee Sharp.
Welcome back. Half-time in the Ullevål Stadium. Norway 1, England 0. Our guest in the studios here is Jerry Francis, the former England skipper. It can all change in a second, Jerry, of course, but not good at the moment. And this is the goal that separates the teams. And the incident that led up to it. 3 minutes from half-time, you wouldn't be too happy, would you, about the time that the goal came?
Well, obviously, it didn't look much of a free kick, but Les really now, obviously, is disappointed that he seemed to dive down. He's gone to sleep now, the boy's on the move. Look, you know, someone's going to take a quick free kick now, and Les hasn't quite got him, and he's off. And that's a split second that means a difference at times, you know. Again, we've got plenty of white shirts, 3-4 white shirts there marking 2 players, which has been one of our problems for most of the first half. Got a bit of fortune with a deflection there, but, you know, I definitely feel if they're going to play the same, they will play the same again. Start of the second half, but I think that somebody, one of the back 3, either Tony Adams, who probably is more suited, or Gary Pallister, has got to come out with the ball and start releasing some players.
Live football all the year round here on Sky Sports. Coming up in July, we've got the European Under-18 Championship. All of England's games we'll see live here on Sky Sports. That's between the 18th and the 25th of July. Let's go back to rejoin Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. We welcome you back to Oslo with the news that Ian Wright, who rescued things on Saturday when England were also 1-0 down at half-time to Poland. Wright is on. Leonardson, the scorer of Norway's goal 3 minutes before half-time. And it's Ian Wright replacing Teddy Sheringham for England. Despite England's defeat here in 1981, they did go on to qualify for the subsequent finals in Spain, thanks to the shortcomings of others, but no one would want that to be the method again for England. But there's certainly room for improvement in the second half. Norway dummying the kickoff. And finally the second half does get underway. Norway a goal to the good. Talking to their manager Egil Olsen half an hour or so before the kickoff, he felt that the match might finish as a draw. Let's hope for England's sake that he's right, and there is a road to recovery here in the second half.
He gave us the impression, Martin, he would settle for a draw. The exact words were, I'd take a draw now.
Wright hoping to get a decision on the edge of the area, the referee having nothing to do with it. And the game is stopped because of the injury to Jostein Flo.
I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that Ian Wright has been asked to come in and rescue England again, Martin, but the one thing that they'll have to improve, and this is where I feel a little bit sorry for Teddy Sheringham. It doesn't matter how good a striker you are, this is the injury that he catches. See, it's his right ankle, I think, he catches. I think that's probably the trouble there. It doesn't matter how good a striker you are. If you're not getting the service you require, then there's nothing you can do about it. And Ian Wright received better service this half than Teddy Sheringham and Ferdinand received in the first half. Agreed totally with Jerry Francis at that time when he was talking about Lee Sharp. I think he's been basically starved of the ball. Only glimpses have we seen him in the game. And it's been through no fault of his own. I think it's up to the more senior players on the England side to be looking to release Lee Sharp as often as possible.
Flo back on his feet. And restarted with a drop ball. Here's Adams. England go to America, of course, later this week. But will they be going to America next year? That's the burning question. And then also for the man in your picture. Rectile's header, Ferdinand trying to fasten onto it. Ferdinand again, beaten by Bratseth. Breaking players here for Norway, Mikland and Leonardson. Walker getting back. Adams covering in the centre. Bohinen. Oh my word! Lars Bohinen, the surprise selection, has surprised Chris Woods, and England are 2 down.
Well, the quality of the build-up was absolutely first class. Watch this right in here. We're only seeing the end of it. Chris Woods will not be happy with that one beating him. But that was the run there. And the lovely little reverse pass that set Bohinen free. And I think he's very ambitious shooting from here. And I don't think Chris Woods will be too happy to turn round and see that one nestling in the net.
3 minutes before half-time, 2 minutes after half-time, Norway have hit England with both barrels. Lars Bohinen, who's famed in these parts for a winning goal he scored against Italy, has widened the margin here, and England, who would have come out with a purpose, a fresh face in attack, determined to sort things out if they can. Well, now the task is much, much greater. Palmer. Gascoigne was second again against Pedersen. Fjørtoft. Sharp. England in a tight corner here in Oslo. 2 goals down. Not with a settled shake to the side. A group of players who have brought plenty of spirit into this World Cup campaign and are going to need every jot of that now.
It's amazing. We mentioned earlier in the first half how the one thing that they looked vulnerable against Poland was to the very quick break. And it was a masterful break from the Norwegians. It really was. Real quality all the way through it, but what pace they put into the movement. And that was the thing that England never recovered.
Fjørtoft. Leonardson. Walker in a tangle. And sadly, we seem to be saying that more often these days. Now Sharp. Ferdinand. Now Platt. Well, England, of course, themselves were 2 goals up at England and saw that recovery is possible. Now they need one of their own. Quick free kick from Gascoigne. Platt across the face. Oh, it was a chance too for Ferdinand. The best England have had so far.
That's a great chance at international level. It really is, Martin. They got caught cold with a quick free kick, and they replied beautifully here. It's absolutely perfect for a little side foot. It's on the volley, no bobbles, Les Ferdinand will wonder why he hasn't hit the target.
Well, it was the type of quickness that Norway showed when they put together the free kick that led to them taking the lead. And England really should have halved the deficit there. Kane quickly was grateful that Adams made an angle for him. That's the problem with back passes for goalkeepers when they're overhit. That was a factor in the incident with Des Walker to Chris Woods in Poland. Well, we've talked all along about how confident Norway have seemed since we've been here, and it hasn't been misplaced confidence.
Well, sometimes that is, and sometimes it can work in your favour. I thought it might do when you and I were out and about the streets of Norway, it was unbelievable how they almost expected to win this game. They were thinking about nothing but victory, and that surprised everyone here, and I thought it might work against them. We have to give them credit from the first minute they've set out to do this job, and until now, everyone has got absolutely right.
That's good. England chase the game, of course. There's always likely to be space for a counter-attack. Here's Fjørtoft. And Bohinen, of course, brimming with confidence. And the referee lets the game go on. Mikland coming in, still Mikland. And now Rekdal, and now Flo. Rekdal again, and finally Walker behind for the corner.
Well, first of all, I thought it was a free kick on Lee Dixon.
And so did England.
By Bohinen. But after that, I mean, here we see it. Rekdal's unlucky. It's great defending by Walker, the way he closes the ball down. And again, Des Walker gets himself back in there for an oh-so-vital touch when Rekdal looked to be opening up to shoot.
It's a corner. Flo waits in the centre. Bradseth has come up. Haller is there as well. That's another corner by the frame of Carlton Palmer.
Well, this is without doubt the biggest test that I can remember England having for many, many a year.
And it's too long. Gives us a chance to apologise if your picture is just slightly breaking up. It's a problem via the Norwegian television service that we're trying to do our best to rectify. We can help that. At the moment we can't help the players. They badly need to help themselves. 2 goals down.
We've got to stick at it though, Martin. That's the important thing at the moment. We've got to stick in. The important thing is not to lose a goal. There's plenty time left in the match. They get a goal, then that would be a real test for the Norwegians. How they will stand up to it. Well, their bottle will go. That would be the question that I would be looking to see asked. And that's why it's vitally important that they keep going, even if they get a late goal.
Mikland for Fjørtoft. For the side that continue to look more likely to score are the ones wearing red on their shirts.
Yeah, the movement's troubled England basically all night when they've gotten the last third. And Fjørtoft again opting for the near post. And perhaps more danger would have been created pulling it across the goal.
England already have got the game going again, as they have to do. Right. Leonardsen, Fjørtoft. And Palmer's given it away to Mikland. Bohinen. Rekdal, 2 to the right. Rekdal skips Palmer. No one to his left, so a link up here with Fjørtoft. And England really getting a chasing at the moment. Micklin going in. Pallister, a great height advantage. Had it been deeper there, Flo was waiting. Two up for Graham Taylor's team, but Bratzer denying any sort of possession for right. Gascoigne now. Sharp, who's never been able to get away, and Haller this time got the better of him with a bit of help perhaps for the referee. It's Joran Selot getting ready to come on for Norway. We're 11 minutes into the second half. A bounce there in Selot's step, and in the Norwegian spirits, they're 2 goals to the good.
I can only think he's coming on for the big boy, Flo Martin, because I can't see any reason why, if you were the Norwegian manager, you'd be looking to make a change. And Flo's ankle injury may just be troubling him somewhat.
Pallister getting there quickly, and certainly Flo isn't moving too quickly, but it's Bjertoft who goes off and is pretty reluctant to leave. And look at that. Why?
He looks disgusted.
Written all over his face. The player whose contract is up in Austria, he wants to play in England, he says.
I'm amazed at that, because he has received what England front two haven't received all through the game, is better service. But what he's done, he's used it very intelligently for me. He's held the ball up, he's given his midfield players time to get up with them there. And I'm really surprised at that decision to change the system that's working so well for him at the moment.
But Egil Olsen has a golden touch here in Norway. He's, as I said at the start, a national hero now. They believe in everything that he does. And certainly Selot has been one of his favoured sons in his selection since he took on the job. Micklin. Second header for England was from Adams. Here's Rekdal. Selot, who scored so spectacularly to win the game against Holland that really gave Norway in this qualifying group. Bjørneby coming forward. Ferdinand getting back with him.
The way they're playing though, Lee Dixon should be seeing that run, Mark, and saying to Les Ferdinand, hold on Les, I've got him coming. You stay there and be a threat at the other end when I win the ball.
There's been a great deal of debate about how many points in this group you will need to qualify. David Platt has been talking about 15. Egil Olsen believes that 13 with a good goal difference might be enough. Well, a win tonight and Norway will have 11, although there are 4 games to come, none of them easy ones. I mean to say, none of them against San Marino.
Yeah, I think the Norwegians would regard a victory tonight, Martin, as almost putting with 1 foot across the Atlantic and in the USA.
And what it would mean from England's point of view, at the very least they'll have to get something in Holland in October, and that's given a home win against Poland in September, and of course a win in San Marino in the last England game in the group.
I mean, they're absolutely swarming around Paul Gascoigne. He's playing in that little position in between the back 4 and the midfield 5 basically that they've got, Norway, and every time he gets the ball they swarm round him.
Look for Flo, that's the ball that they rehearsed so publicly on Monday morning, and have had Graham Taylor thinking about tinkering with his tactics, which of course he has done for the game. Haller now has hurt Sharp and incurred the anger of the referee. Whether it's going to be a booking, he played the ball.
I actually thought in that case it was a one tackle that was pretty fair to me. He has gotten away with 1 or 2 dubious ones. Not only is it a free kick, he's been booked by it as well. I think he's a bit unfortunate there.
And by my reckoning, that's the second time he's been booked against England. Got a yellow card at Wembley as well, and will miss the match next Wednesday in Holland. Ferdinand can right get there, and a little tangle with Torsvedt that the crowd didn't like, but this blonde Viking character
Well, any touch from Ian right here and it's a goal. Look how close he is. Because Eric had come in, but it was brave goalkeeping and good goalkeeping, because with the boot of Ian Wright flying at his face level, Eric Tosser kept his eye firmly on the ball. I would actually drop, Martin, I'd swap David Platt and Paul Gascoigne around a little bit, just for 10 minutes. I'd drop Gascoigne a bit deeper, just to try and get him on the ball, just to try and see if he could open up something, and say to David Platt, you go and play in that half position and you try your forward runs. Because Paul Gascoigne at the moment, he's almost playing as a front runner. And I don't care what anyone says, for me that's not Paul Gascoigne at his best. My vision of Gascoigne at his best is when he picks it up, he runs at people, he commits people, he creates a pass.
Ferdinand, by standing as far forward as he is at the moment, he's just easily marked, easily spotted, and playing with his back to the goal has never been his game. He can terrify teams coming forward with the ball glued to his feet. Right, able to quite glue the ball to his foot there, but it breaks for Palmer. England in desperate need of a goal here, and the lift it would bring. 17 minutes into the second half. England hit either side of half-time by Leonardson and Bohinen for Norway. Right. Wants it to run, and Gascoigne's not giving it up. It is a goal kick. Well, the mask is gone, but it's still not the real Paul Gascoigne. England are taking off Des Walker and bringing on Nigel Clough. Well, Dixon now does drop into an orthodox right-back position. Lee Sharp wondering what that means for him.
He's going to go left-back. That's certainly what David Platt signalled to Lee Sharp. And he has to, for me, because if he doesn't, there's going to be a huge area for the Norwegians to get into.
Still trying to reorganise at the moment. Sharp. Well, I saw that coming.
And now they have no real natural width further forward. Field now, England have taken that away by dropping Sharp back. It looks like they're looking for Paul Gascoigne to provide that width.
Graham Taylor did say to me in an interview we showed you before the game that he never thought about leaving out Paul Gascoigne. I wonder whether that was totally correct, because obviously Gascoigne isn't in full working order, but here he is trying to make a mark on a match, and he's been a peripheral figure really, and he's got his cross in, and that's more encouraging.
That's more encouraging because he got the ball into an area where he could actually turn and go at people. That's exactly what was said. That's the Paul Gascoigne I know at his best. Coming from those deep areas, he frightens the life out of teams. But he's much easier to mark when he's playing where he's playing at the moment.
Ferdinand. And this is where Ferdinand is so strong. Bratzer trying to shepherd him out of harm's way. A bit of a disagreement, I think. Initially the referee was going to point for a goal kick, but he's taken the advice of his linesman. Maybe that's a touch of luck that England need, and a chance to make something from the corner. And they've got 2-on-1 here at the short corner. Sharp, header out by Flo. Palmer loops it back in, and David Platt has read it well. And the player who served England so successfully as a goal scorer couldn't oblige that time as it dropped. No flag. Another opportunity.
Can you name these two Dutch masters? Find out after the commercials.
Hey, this is Bret the Hitman Hart of the World Wrestling Federation. Don't miss all the excitement of the WWF King of the Ring tournament Monday, June 14th at 7 p.m. only on Sky Sports. He was born to be king.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Night, Jim.
Thank you.
Hey! Maar nooit traîner.
Get him to move, sir.
I'll do it, boss.
Did you make a phone call, sir?
I had a word with the ambassador, yes.
I phoned Barclaycard.
Please.
Excuse, sir, they got me a lawyer. Shouty! An English-speaking lawyer, sir.
Well, I'm being seen personally by the Minister of Justice.
Can I help you?
Ooh, dry white wine, please.
I'm afraid the bars are closed.
Bye.
Once upon a time, the diesel car was an unfortunate beast. Slow, noisy, smelly, and smoky. But the diesel has changed, and so has our diesel fuel. SO Diesel 2000 is a brand new diesel fuel that helps cut exhaust smoke, reduces noise, gives better fuel economy, improves performance, and helps make diesels of every generation cleaner, healthier creatures. SO Diesel 2000, a new generation of diesel.
Get up. Get down. Get down. Strawberry, apple, chocolate flavors. Everybody's talking about Pop-Tarts. Talk about. Walk about. They're so hot they're cool.
This man is looking out for people having their first taste of a new kind of ice cream. Twix ice cream. He knows after they bite through milk chocolate into cool vanilla ice cream, they won't expect crumbly biscuits. Watch out for new Twix ice cream.
Think about how you'll spend your life. 24.5 years sleeping, 3.1 years eating, 1.7 years at weddings, 3.2 years listening to boring lectures, which leaves 5.1 months for pure, unadulterated, mindless...
From the boulevards of Paris to the oil fields of Dallas, in the Casbahs or Baccarat, everybody's playing Yahtzee. From Berlin to Beijing, they're rolling and they're shaking. In the air and on the high seas, everybody's playing Yahtzee, the most popular dice game in the world. Thank you so much.
The two Dutch masters are Johan Cruyff and Rembrandt.
Well, when we were in Sweden last summer for the European Championship, which was of course won by Denmark, Sweden finished as losing semi-finalists, and the talk then was that the best team in Scandinavia weren't either of those, it was Norway. And since that competition was finished, Norway have certainly lived up to that billing. Ferdinand. Now Gascoigne. It's a far cry from his dominating performance against Norway at Wembley. He stayed well forward, sharp on the ball, pressed back by Rekdal. Adams. Flick on from Ferdinand, more height than he wanted. Sørloth. Well, Heenan, who has been an inspired selection by Egil Olsen. Not in the original party of 16 named for this match, but then Minnie Jakobsen ruled out. He was the extra one to make up the 16, so they thought, not to make up the team. Now Sharp. Here's Ferdinand. Well, England had the corner. Nigel Clough was making up the ground quickly on the edge of the penalty area, hoping that he'd be spotted by Les Ferdinand.
And this is where Norway will be looking for their skipper, the number 4 in your picture, Rune Bratseth now. In these times, very, very experienced. He's looking to hold his defence together.
20 minutes to go. Sharp having to chase back. Norway have really pushed out. Glanced on by Adams. Flag is up.
Done that quite well. Norway, they've gambled a little bit at times in pushing out, and they're 2-0 up, but they've definitely caught the English strikers trying to get back in too early. And every little stoppage eats up valuable seconds.
Players, you can see Gascoigne in the picture there, hands on hips, just taking a moment, wondering what has gone wrong and can they sort it out. Concentration back very much on the ball now. Mikland. Clough pointing to the ball to indicate that he got it, but the referee seeing it from behind Nigel Clough.
Yeah, I think you can see there, he does get it, but what they do ever so well, these continental sides, man, as soon as they touch down, they go with a scream of pain, and that certainly influences referees.
Low. And now some scurrying across. Pull a string or two here with his passing ability for England. Palmer's got forward, just cut off by Pedersen. Ferdinand couldn't quite find the ball as it dropped cleanly enough. The presence of Carlton Palmer almost made something happen further forward for England then. Sørloth. He's got one to take on, that's Adams. He doesn't even do that, he goes for goal, and Woods stops Norway's lead being extended to 3. Leonardsen.
Well, that's what they've just got to gamble a little bit now. They're approaching, what, the last 15 minutes of the match. Have to gamble at times, push men forward, particularly Dick up, and hope that something drops for them.
Pallister. And Sørloth complaining to the linesman, being told to get on with the game. of celebration in Oslo. Adams. Here's Platt. Norway happy to get players behind the ball now. What can Adams see? Well, he spotted Ferdinand. Can't get to this one. Micklund. And the more England press forward, the prey to the danger, it seems, when Norway come out passing the ball like this. They're short of numbers, advanced positions in the centre, but they do have the throw, and there are 15 minutes left for England to get 2 goals. Otherwise it will be their first defeat in the qualifying group, and Norway will have claimed another major scalp.
Well, if they're going to do it, Mark, they're going to have to do something in the last 15 minutes that they really, in all honesty, haven't threatened to do in the previous 75. But we know how quickly football can change, and that's the one thing that's got to keep these England players going.
Right. Now Ferdinand. He might be away here. Les Ferdinand for England, and Torsvedt stops it.
Well, that's 2 excellent chances that Les Ferdinand has had. And again, full marks to Eric Torsvedt. You could see what Ferdinand had in mind. He was looking to lift it over him. He had no idea that Ian Wright was coming in the far post. And I would say that was good goalkeeping.
For Norway, it was great goalkeeping. Goal for England. The nerves will perhaps rattle. That goal could still come from the corner, but Sherlock with a chance to clear. He's taking his time. There's no one to clear it to. But he's knocked it into space. That's filled first of all by Gunnar Halle. Rekdal has made another ranging run into the middle. Palmer predicted what Halle would try to do. Right, now there's a chance for Lee Sharp to stretch his legs. Precious few moments in the game for him.
Well, that's got to be a free kick. I mean, I can't believe some of the decisions that haven't been given in Lee Sharp's favour at times. But what's amazed me about the Norwegians at the moment, Mark, they're winning an international 2-0, and one they really, I don't think, and are they settling for that? No, they're throwing men forward.
Heenan trying to swerve that with the outside of the right foot. He's based in Switzerland with the young boys club in Bern, but he's been loaned back for the Norwegian season to his club here, Lillestrøm. Ferdinand, right, needs help from behind, gets it from Clough, who couldn't find Gascoigne. Flo was not an attempt to build through midfield that time.
And he got a bit of stick for it as well. Rekdal was not happy.
Flat. Look at this from Sherlock. That's bordering on arrogance. And England are left floundering again. Micklund. It's lovely football. Sherlock. Bohinen. What a goal that would have been in the context of a World Cup tie. And Chris Woods used his hands then. And the referee, despite the Norwegian protest, let the game go on.
Incredible decision, wasn't it? No doubt that Lee Dixon was just not instinctively knocking it back to Chris Woods under pressure.
Well, no wonder they're up and dancing.
Well, I know they're playing the confidence, Martin, but I think that the England manager got it slightly wrong when he led us to believe that they would be a very direct side. They've played some beautiful football at times, but in all honesty, it has really looked a very disjointed performance from England. The players at times have looked to me as if they're not too sure what's required of them, what positions they're being asked to play and what exact role there is in the team for them. And that's been a feature of the game for me tonight. Whereas the Norwegians have known to a man what's exactly been required of each and every one of them.
Bohinen. Looking for flow. Dixon only back to Bohinen again. Leonardson this time. Well, if you believe in the old expression, may the best team win, you won't be disappointed with the result here. The best team are certainly winning.
Well, if England get a result in this game, Martin, they really will be getting out of jail.
Clough, right. Well, sometimes the mishits make things happen. Ferdinand could have found himself with a chance there as Ian Wright was trying to blaze away the goal.
Yeah, well, Leonardson's mishit ended up in the back of the net first half, and at a very crucial time in the match.
A match that has 10 minutes to run. And Norway continue to play the poised and polished football. Adams, who's normally full of clenched fists waving to encourage others, trying to concentrate on his own game. He's darting across now to try and take the throw quickly. There's the seconds pass. And they're going to take off Rune Bratseth for Roger Nielsen. Bratseth, who's had a lot of football recently. His club, Werder Bremen, are top of the Bundesliga in Germany, with one game to go. And a real duel with Bayern Munich for the title in Germany. And of course he's got to play, if fit, against Holland next Wednesday night.
And I think at 32 years of age, it's no surprise really to see him go off. He looked like he was struggling a little bit, particularly in that last run, that last chase with Les Ferdinand, when Les left him for dead.
Sörloth, as you can see, has taken on the captain's armband. Flow. Rekdal, Palmer in the way, Mikvan skips into the picture, Palmer blocks him as well. Now Gascoigne, Clough. David Platt trying to pick a pass, and Norway are holding their shape and making it difficult for him to do that. And Gascoigne gets a free kick. And there are 7 minutes to go. And it's still 2-0 to Norway.
I was just thinking that Tony Adams just stayed back, and I'm thinking to myself, he's got to go up. At last he's decided to go up there and make his presence felt.
And he gets his head to the ball as well. Pallister trying to steer it on goalwards, and it's Norway's throw. Sörloth. Here's Bohinen. Unlike Poland on Saturday night, Norway haven't panicked when they've got in the lead. Poland took their foot off the accelerator, made a substitution that was definitely defensively minded and lost the initiative. England haven't been given the chance here in Oslo to repeat that.
How often have we talked about the importance of keeping the ball in international football? And that's exactly what the Norwegians have done in the second half when they've had the opportunity to take the steam out of the game, to plenty of passes together and frustrate England. And England just haven't been able to get the ball off them.
Pedersen, now right. Well, he hit it pretty true. The type of effort that he's put away for Arsenal so spectacularly in the past, just when England needed it, it flew on wide.
Yeah, just at the time when, if anything's going to go right for them, that's going to fly in the top corner.
Norway, who started with that 10-0 demolition of San Marino, and then beat Holland here 2-1. We shouldn't forget that. And putting the England result into context, but more worrying than the result, I think, has been the performance. And the result's bad enough.
Take a bad performance if you're winning the game, Martin. I think that's the thing at the moment. But at the moment, England are doing neither. They're neither playing well, nor are they getting the result that they need.
Norway have also won in San Marino 2-0. They drew at Wembley, of course, 1-1. And most recently of all, they beat Turkey here by 3 goals to 1. Well, barring miracles now, it will be Graham Taylor's 4th defeat in 32 games as England manager. And by far, in this World Cup campaign, the worst night. The first loss, of course, in the group. Similarities, perhaps, with the exit in the European Championships to Sweden. Comparisons will be made there.
Tell you what, Gunnar Haller better watch himself. He's already been booked in the end within seconds. A bad tackle on Paul Gascoigne and another one, as we see there, on Lee Sharp.
That's the newly arrived Nielsen who heads it out. Bohinen first to react. He's got runners either side. There are 4 up here for Norway. Sørloth. And still lines upwards, and in the end it flicked off Palmer, but he sailed through England then, leaving Gascoigne on his backside first of all.
But again, look at the vulnerability to the quick break that we see there. That shouldn't be happening with it. I know England are throwing men forward in desperation, looking to get something, but they're really being caught far too often in that type of break.
Sørloth encouraging the crowd, and he can take time off to do that, with Norway sitting pretty. Woods wanted to throw it out quickly on this near side to Clough. Dixon. Sure all of you at home are doing your sums and permutations, working out how the group might finish up and how England can possibly make up the ground that they've lost here tonight. 3 games to go, remember, at home to Poland, away to Holland, and then away to San Marino. Flo. Clough caught him out. And right is offside. And I suppose the basic question, Andy, was the team was changed, the style was changed, and the result is wrong. The reason
certainly gone towards it, Mark. The players have for the majority of the night. As I said, a lot of them have looked as if they're not quite sure what kind of area of the park they're supposed to be working in, what has been required from them tonight. And they've looked at times, as I said, very disjointed. But, you know, Graham Taylor was always a man who said he didn't want to change the style he'd achieved over the last 4 or 5 games. He felt that was the way forward. And here in the most important game that they've probably had in the section, he goes and changes it.
out of respect for the opposition. Well, the opposition have had no respect for England. Here's Jostein Flo. Sherlock trying to lean in there first. What was that expression from the radio commentary back in 1981? We gave your boys one hell of a beating. Well, in a way, it's a bit more appropriate tonight than it was then. The flag is up.
Oh, this has been a much more convincing victory. I don't remember seeing a team dominate an England side as much as the Norwegians have done, with such confidence, Martin, in everything they've done.
England will point, I'm sure, to the shortcomings in the way the two goals were conceded, caught out at a quick free kick, which led to Fjørtoft crossing for Leonardsen to miss-hit his shot in for the first goal just before half-time, and then Lars Bohinen really taking on Chris Woods from an acute angle for the second goal and winning. So early in the second half, it really rocked England back, and I'm sure they were coming out fighting for the second half, but they just really haven't got into the battle. And supporters here who really have grown to believe in their team have had very few nervous moments for them. Rekdal. Norway running the show again. Bohinen. Here's Haller. Into Flo for Haller again. And just tipped over. I wonder for a second whether it was going to actually drop inside that far post from the touch from Woods.
I mean, you talk about there's been a fortune, a good bit of fortune about the two goals, but there has. But I think this performance they've given tonight, they've earned that little bit of good fortune.
Well, I wasn't fortune, I was more talking about the two goals. And it might not all be over yet. The header out by Pallister. Nigel Clough has certainly battled on since his arrival, but been trying to get the ball forward quickly. Wright chased on and has pulled up lame as well, to add some injury to the insult to England tonight. We've had a couple of minutes of time added on. Sharp. England keeping going as they have to do, even one goal, if goal difference counts, come the autumn time when the group will be decided. Platt, offside, and couldn't be reached by Wright in any case. And as far as the match is concerned, it's the last rights now.
I mean, I'm looking around and thinking, you know, what positive things with Graham in the game. And in all honesty, Martin, not a lot. I think Pallister's equipped himself very well indeed, certainly since he switched to a back four. Lee Sharp has come into an incredibly difficult game and had to play half of it at left back. Can be well pleased with his job.
Well, England have lost here in Oslo on a night of ecstasy for Norwegian football. Severe doubt chances of Graham Taylor's team to qualify for the finals. The goals either side of half-time by Leonardsen and by Bohinen. Norway now to ensure a spot in the United States, though none of their remaining 4 games are easy. England with just 1 point from this 2-game trip. Graham Taylor now a target for what will be considerable criticism, I'm sure. A victory perhaps for the team would be premature, but England definitely play in America next week. Next year, well, that's another matter. That's the sad story from the Ullevål Stadium, where it's finished Norway 2, England 0.
Thank you, Martin and Andy Gray, and that a major blow to England's chances of qualifying for the World Cup finals. Group 2 looks like this after that match. Norway on top with 11 points from 6 games. England still second, 9 from 7. Holland third, 8 points from 6 games. Then come Poland, still unbeaten as well, like Norway, 8 points from 5 games. The next football here on Sky Sports, the climax to the German league season. Werder Bremen and Bayern Munich are locked at the top, separated by just 1 goal in fact. Bayern finish at Schalke, Werder Bremen go to Stuttgart. We'll have both games in the German football programme Monday at 7. And there's more live football coming up in July as well. That's the European Under-18 Championship, all of England's matches.